You think you know the Ten Commandments? The sweeping landscapes, epic battles, and Charlton Heston's towering presence? That's just the surface. Behind the biblical grandeur lies chaos, danger, and obsession. Sets collapsed. Actors were injured. Massive animals roamed freely. A real desert punished the cast and crew, and one sequence almost ended production entirely. Cecil B. DeMille didn't just direct a movie, he orchestrated a spectacle bordering on madness. These are the 20 weird, shocking, and hidden facts about the greatest biblical epic ever filmed. Fact 1. Heston. Nearly drowned in the Nile. During the Nile scenes, Charlton Heston had to ride a real, fast-moving river current. A hidden sandbar snagged his camel prop, tipping him into turbulent water. Crew members rushed with ropes, but Heston struggled for precious seconds. The stunt wasn't planned for safety, it was raw and real. DeMille insisted on multiple takes despite the danger. Heston later said the experience terrified him, but added a sense of authenticity he couldn't replicate in a tank or soundstage. That fear shines through in every shot where Moses commands the river, giving audiences a genuine sense of awe. Fact 2. Yul Brynner's costumes burned his skin. Yul Brynner, playing Pharaoh Ramesses, wore multiple layers of heavy leather and metal for ceremonial scenes. The Egyptian sun hit the costumes like an oven, searing Brynner's skin. On several days, he developed heat rashes and blisters, yet he refused to skip takes. Makeup artists and assistants carried cold packs to keep him from fainting. Brynner's rigid posture, intimidating glare, and almost mechanical movement weren't just acting. They were a reaction to real discomfort. The physical suffering intensified the realism of Ramesses' menacing presence, making him one of cinema's most unforgettable villains. Fact 3. The Red Sea split nearly went wrong. The iconic parting of the Red Sea was done with massive water tanks and hydraulic walls. On the first test, the machinery malfunctioned, sending thousands of gallons crashing dangerously toward extras. Some were drenched and bruised. The crew scrambled to prevent injuries, but the chaotic scene delayed filming by weeks. DeMille demanded reshoots to achieve perfect symmetry, putting pressure on everyone. When the final cut aired, audiences were mesmerized, unaware of how close the scene came to real disaster. The combination of mechanical engineering and cinematic magic was groundbreaking, but it nearly ended the production in tragedy. Fact 4. Egyptian animals ran wild. On-set DeMille imported live camels, sheep, donkeys, and even an elephant for authenticity. These animals were unpredictable. Camels bolted, knocking over props and scaring extras. One donkey escaped mid-scene, causing a chaotic chase through the set. Trainers were on constant alert, often risking injury. Some animals even bit or kicked crew members. Despite the hazards, DeMille refused to replace live animals with props, insisting audiences needed realism. These wild creatures added chaos, energy, and unpredictability to the film, making the epic feel alive. Every scene with animals carries a hint of real danger behind the cinematic spectacle. Fact 5. Heston studied Torah and ancient texts. To embody Moses' authority, Heston spent months studying biblical texts, Hebrew pronunciations, and ancient rituals. He memorized entire sections in the original language, ensuring authenticity. This dedication frustrated some crew members because he corrected them on pronunciation and gestures. Heston's intense research, combined with his towering presence, made Moses both imposing and human. His performance wasn't just cinematic, it was educational and spiritual. DeMille credited Heston for elevating the role beyond acting, making audiences feel the weight of biblical history through posture, voice, and reverence. Fact 6. The pyramid set collapsed. A massive set depicting the Egyptian pyramids partially collapsed during construction due to a miscalculated weight distribution. Workers narrowly escaped, and DeMille demanded reinforcement before filming continued. The accident delayed the schedule by weeks and forced additional budget allocations. Actors were nervous about performing on precarious scaffolding. Charlton Heston even commented on feeling like he was on a real construction site of danger. The partial collapse didn't reach the final footage, but the tension of rebuilding added a sense of urgency and realism to the pyramid sequences, making them feel monumental. Fact 7. Anne Baxter suffered sunstroke. Anne Baxter, portraying Nefertiti, spent long hours on desert sets under scorching Egyptian-like lights. During one sequence, she fainted from heat exhaustion. Crew members rushed water and cold towels, and filming paused for the rest of the day. Baxter insisted on returning the next day to finish her lines, demonstrating immense dedication. Some scenes show her flushed and tense. Expressions, part acting, part physical stress. Her suffering contributed to the authenticity of Nefertiti's vulnerability and nobility, blending personal struggle with cinematic storytelling in a way modern audiences rarely recognize. Fact 8. The plague scenes were dangerous. The scenes depicting plagues, frogs, locusts, and cattle, were filmed with live animals and practical effects. Swarms of frogs were kept in water tanks and accidentally escaped, causing chaos. Extras panicked. The locusts sometimes bit actors or crew. DeMille pushed everyone to remain calm for multiple takes. Some cattle panicked during stampede shots, narrowly missing actors. These uncontrolled elements gave the film energy and realism that CGI could never replicate. The danger on set became part of the legend of the Ten Commandments, reminding everyone that epic storytelling often comes with real-life risk. Fact 9. Charlton Heston was nearly trampled by camels. During the Exodus sequences, camels were used to depict mass movement. Heston, towering but unaware, was almost trampled when a group bolted mid-take. Handlers jumped in, restraining the animals, but Heston narrowly escaped injury. His commanding presence in these shots appears calm and authoritative, yet it masked genuine fear. The production's insistence on live animals amplified realism, and Heston's near accident added authenticity to Moses' leadership under pressure. These tense moments were invisible to audiences, but they left lasting impressions on cast and crew, emphasizing the stakes of filming on such an ambitious scale. Fact 10. The burning bush used real flames. The burning bush scene required real fire controlled by safety experts. Flames occasionally leapt beyond planned limits, threatening the set and costumes. Heston had to stand near intense heat while delivering lines with authority. Makeup and costume teams continuously monitored him for burns. The risk added tension to Heston's performance, making the scene feel alive rather than staged. DeMille's insistence on practical effects over miniatures or projected images created unmatched cinematic realism. Viewers see Moses' awe, but behind the camera, fear, discipline, and danger dictated every frame, creating an unforgettable cinematic spectacle. Fact 11. Massive statues collapsed. Accidentally. During the filming of Egyptian temple sequences, enormous statues designed for scale toppled unexpectedly during a rehearsal. Crew members narrowly avoided injury. DeMille demanded immediate rebuilding, adding several extra weeks to the production schedule. These statues were made of plaster and wood, massive yet fragile. The near accidents caused nervous tension among cast members and crew. Heston later mentioned that walking among the huge props felt surreal, giving the scenes authenticity. The danger of collapsing monuments contributed to the epic's weight, making the biblical grandeur feel both impressive and precarious. Fact 12. John Derek was injured by a camel. John Derek, playing Joshua, was kicked by a camel while rehearsing a desert sequence. The impact broke a rib. Filming paused until he recovered. His pain is subtly visible in several close-ups, especially during Exodus scenes. Despite the injury, Derek insisted on performing physically demanding scenes. The camel's unpredictability added a level of realism that would be impossible with staged animals. Crew members recalled the set as constantly tense, with every desert shot feeling like a risk. This blend of danger and dedication defined the epic's production style, leaving the final product both beautiful and believable. Fact 13. Moses' staff scenes. Required complex rigs. Moses' staff, central to many miracles, was manipulated using hidden wires and hydraulic rigs. Several takes went wrong, nearly injuring Heston and extras. Sparks, water, and sand were rigged to create divine effects. Heston's reactions, however, remained genuine, as many effects malfunctioned unpredictably. DeMille insisted on filming live interactions rather than using post-production compositing. This insistence contributed to the film's awe-inspiring magic, making each staff movement feel monumental. Behind every miracle was a mixture of risk, precise timing, and Heston's sheer determination to embody Moses' authority and connection to the divine. Fact 14. Massive sandstorms endangered crew. The production recreated desert sandstorms using industrial blowers. The storms were so intense that some crews suffered eye irritation, scratches, and respiratory issues. Extras often stumbled or fell, causing delays. DeMille required multiple takes until the storm perfectly interacted with the actors and props. Charlton Heston endured hours of sand in his mouth, eyes, and hair. Makeup artists constantly reapplied cosmetic layers. The real discomfort contributed to authentic reactions on screen. What viewers see as epic intensity was often real fear and exhaustion, heightening the sense of struggle during Exodus sequences. Fact 15. The Exodus sequence used thousands of extras. Over 10,000 extras participated in the Exodus scenes. Coordinating them was a logistical nightmare. Some extras got lost in massive sand dunes. Communication relied on flags and loudspeakers. Extras were exhausted by long shooting days under the sun. Despite this, DeMille demanded precise choreography, requiring extras to move in synchronized patterns. Injuries were minor but frequent. The scale added grandeur, but the real-life chaos of directing tens of thousands of people contributed to the epic feeling of mass migration. The screen captures monumental history, but behind the camera, it was pure chaos and endurance. Fact 16. Charlton Heston's sandals were custom-made. Heston's sandals were designed to prevent slipping during desert shots. Still, they failed during the Nile crossing, contributing to his near drowning. DeMille insisted Heston wear historically accurate footwear, despite repeated risks. The sandals became part of his iconic look, but also a real hazard during physical scenes. Heston's careful balance between authenticity and safety reflects the production's obsession with historical fidelity. Even minor costume choices carried consequences, blending realism with danger and showcasing the meticulous planning that went into every visual detail of this epic. Fact 17. Set fires almost destroyed props. Large temple sets were partially constructed from wood. During scenes involving pyrotechnics, sparks ignited unintended areas, causing minor fires. Crew members acted quickly to prevent catastrophe. Some props were damaged, delaying filming further. Heston and other actors sometimes had to perform near real flames. This danger added energy and tension to each take. DeMille refused to use smaller, safer sets, claiming it would reduce scale and awe. The production constantly teetered on disaster, and these minor incidents contributed to a palpable sense of authenticity, visible in every burning temple scene. Fact 18. Heston walked through real water. For scenes involving parting waters, Heston walked through shallow pools instead of a dry set with digital effects. Water was freezing and sometimes contaminated. Heston caught colds, skin irritations, and minor injuries from hidden debris. Crew members admired his commitment. The discomfort and cold reflected on his face, adding realism. Viewers perceived divine miracles, but behind the camera, Heston endured hours of physical strain to achieve perfect movement and dramatic impact. Every step shows a dedication that blends physical suffering with cinematic majesty, creating enduring cinematic awe. Fact 19. Religious leaders criticized the film upon release. Some religious authorities claimed the movie misrepresented biblical events. They criticized liberties in dialogue, Exodus depictions, and Pharaoh's cruelty. DeMille consulted scholars, but maintained dramatic license. He argued films must evoke emotion, not serve as historical textbooks. Controversy sparked public interest and boosted box office numbers. The pushback demonstrates the tension between reverence and spectacle in biblical epics. The film's balance between authenticity and storytelling, even under criticism, helped cement its place as a cultural landmark, blending faith, history, and cinematic ambition into one unforgettable experience. Fact 20. The movie took 4 years to film. The Ten Commandments took over 4 years from planning to final release. Sets collapsed, animals bolted, actors were injured, and scenes were delayed by weather and mechanical failures. Thousands of extras, massive props, pyrotechnics, and live animals created constant tension. DeMille's obsession with authenticity pushed cast and crew to exhaustion. Despite everything, the film emerged as one of the most iconic biblical epics. Its scale, risk, and chaos were unparalleled. Modern productions rarely attempt such ambition. The behind-the-scenes struggle is invisible on screen but crucial to appreciating the monumental achievement that audiences still revere today. The Ten Commandments wasn't just a movie. It was a monumental gamble of ambition, risk, and devotion. Actors suffered. Crew feared accidents. Massive sets collapsed. Animals ran wild. Flames threatened disaster. Every scene combined artistry with danger. Cecil B. DeMille's obsession with realism created a cinematic spectacle that mesmerized audiences while pushing humans to their limits. The chaos, struggle, and unexpected accidents are invisible to viewers, yet they define the epic's legacy. If you want more shocking behind-the-scenes secrets from Hollywood's greatest productions, like, comment, and subscribe. Because the real story always happens behind the camera.